Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look at a pretty fascinating stack of leaked internal documents, unpacking the Democratic Party's massive strategic overhaul as of March 2026.
Yeah, we are getting a really rare look at how a major political entity attempts a complete course correction in real time.
Right.
And just a quick heads up before we get into the weeds today, our goal here is simply to lay out the raw data and the strategies from these source documents.
Right. We aren't picking sides or anything.
Exactly. We are not endorsing any of the politics here. We just want to unpack the intriguing math and the tactics shaping the landscape for you.
Okay, let's unpack this. To understand the shift, we have to look at where things stand right now in early 2026.
The 119th Congress.
Right. We are under a second Trump administration. Republicans have secured a tight grip on the Senate, 53 to 47.
And a razor-thin majority in the House, too, 220 to 215.
Right. So for Democrats, that complete lockout from federal power is setting off major alarm bells, forcing some pretty aggressive new maneuvers.
And what's fascinating here is the sheer scale of the internal crisis that actually triggered those maneuvers. After the 2024 election loss, the party commissioned this heavy, data-driven autopsy report.
Which they tried to suppress.
Yeah, party leadership actually tried to suppress its public release. They said it was to avoid distractions, but the details leaked out anyway.
As they always do.
Right, and it exposed this massive disconnect between the political elite and the working class voters they actually rely on.
Oh, I saw a striking quote in the notes about that. From a private moderate conference analyzing that exact disconnect, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh was speaking to a room of Democrats, and he basically just lost his temper.
He really went off.
He shouted that they sound like academics, literally begging them to rip off your friggin' sport coat and talk to me. He specifically called out their reliance on therapy speak.
Which is honestly a brilliant way to capture the frustration. Voters are tuning out when politicians use academic phrases like systemic restructuring.
Or lived experience.
Exactly. They just want to know how the party plans to lower the cost of their groceries. And the data completely backs up Walsh's outburst.
How so?
Well, when you look at the raw ideological math of the party's base, the loudest voices online, the group the research labels the woke fringe, they make up just 11% of the coalition.
Wow, only 11.
Right. Meanwhile, 47% are actually moderates demanding practical middle-of-the-road governance.
So if that 47% is so large, why is the messaging so disconnected? The documents mention this insider term, the five families fighting for control. How does that play into this?
If we connect this math to the bigger picture of party leadership, it explains the massive turf wars happening right now. The five families represent regional factions, and the tension isn't just geographical, it's heavily ideological.
Like the San Francisco establishment.
Backed by massive tech money demanding a pivot to moderation. But they are clashing directly with an ascendant New York socialist bloc.
Led by figures like NYC Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
Exactly. And they are demanding radical housing and tax reforms. That internal friction is what paralyzed the party's messaging.
Here's where it gets really interesting. They realize this internal paralysis is costing them elections. So the new playbook completely abandons the abstract democracy is on the ballot messaging.
Right out the window.
Instead, the strategy is a hard pivot to pocketbook pragmatism.
Michigan Senator Elissa Slotkin summed up this new approach perfectly. She is pushing to bring alpha energy back to the party.
Alpha energy. You do not hear that from them often.
You really don't. But in a political context, it means adopting this assertive Midwestern style of leadership, focusing relentlessly on wallets and children, completely bypassing the abstract culture wars that alienate the working class.
So if the federal route is blocked by congressional gridlock, where is this new strategy actually playing out on the ground?
At the state level, the DLCC is actively trying to build a progressive firewall by targeting specific state legislatures.
Because state laws impact your daily life much faster than a divided Congress ever could. Let's zoom in on Indiana to see this saturation strategy in action. For the first time since 1974, Democrats, they're contesting all 25 state Senate races.
And the hyper-local tactics they are using to do that are brilliant. In Hancock County, Indiana, organizers are using the encrypted Signal app to run local government watch networks, monitoring town councils.
Right.
Even more surprisingly, they are organizing apolitical hygiene pack drives and community litter cleanups.
Wow, just totally grassroots.
Yes, they're trying to rebuild basic community trust from the ground up, moving national politics away from cable news soundbites and directly into your local town council meetings and grocery store aisles.
So what does this all mean?
Yeah.
Ultimately, we are watching a major political party pivot away from rhetorical elitism toward hyper-localized working-class economic realism.
They want to meet you where you actually live.
Right.
Which raises a really important question to leave you with today.
What's that?
If political parties are now pivoting to a political community service like organizing local litter cleanups or neighborhood euchre card clubs in the Midwest just to bypass polarization and win your vote, could the future of partisan campaigning accidentally end up curing the loneliness epidemic in our neighborhoods?